The Prime Minister has steered a safe course on the issue of an Australian republic, reaffirming his support while pushing the timeline back. At an event to mark 25 years of the Australian Republican movement, Malcolm Turnbull said Australians wouldn't support a new vote while the Queen remains on the throne. Liv Caspin reports.
Putting the Republic back on the agenda.
I am an Australian. I am proud to say so. Our head of state should be someone who can say the same.
17 years ago, Malcolm Turnbull led the Republican movement to defeat. Today, as Prime Minister, he's calling for a more cautious approach. He's proposed a two-part vote. First, a plebiscite to choose a Republican model, and then a referendum to decide if it should proceed.
Right now, an Australian republic is not inevitable, but we can make it so by working together on this great unfinished business for our nation.
And it's likely to remain unfinished, he says, while Queen Elizabeth remains on the throne.
I do not believe Australians would welcome, let alone support, another republic referendum during her reign.
I think most Republicans disagree with that. But the point is, we don't want a referendum next Tuesday, next Wednesday. We're not ready yet.
The opposition leader has lent his support. In a tweet, Mr Shorten said his offer to work with the government on a republic still stands. But the issue has caused division amongst Liberals. One MP told the ABC that Malcolm Turnbull must have a political death wish to be raising the subject again, while Senator Erica Betts said the PM may want to indulge in the history of the Republican movement, but the Liberal Party was focused on jobs and the cost of living above all else. Liberal MP and monarchist Craig Kelly isn't troubled by Malcolm Turnbull's remarks.
Our system ain't broke. There's no need to fix it.
It was a feeling echoed on the streets.
I'm a staunch believer in the Commonwealth, and I'm an anti-Republican for Australia.
I think it's a terrible idea. Sorry, Malcolm, I like you, but bad choice.
It's most inappropriate. He should maintain a neutral stance. We know he's a Republican, but he shouldn't become actively involved in promoting a republic.
And for the moment, it seems he won't. Liv Caspin, ABC News.
The Coalition is hinting that the federal budget could dip further into the red. The long-awaited mid-year economic update will be unveiled tomorrow, and the government's warning that there's going to be more bad news than good.
2016 has been a long and gruelling year for Malcolm Turnbull and the Coalition, but the government has one last hurdle to clear before it finally reaches Christmas. Tomorrow, the Treasurer will hand down the mid-year budget update and all eyes will be on the bottom line. The Coalition's promised a budget surplus by 2020-21, but the Finance Minister's coy about whether that commitment will survive.
Our objective is get back to balance, get back to surplus as soon as possible.
Some commodity prices have picked up recently, which will help, but the latest figures show the economy may be stalling with revenue down and wages growth dropping off.
The recent increases in commodity prices are not enough to offset the effect of low wage inflation, in particular on income tax receipts.
This is a government that promised to fix the budget and to have jobs and growth in our economy. Instead, we've got growing deficits.
If tomorrow's numbers are ugly, the government may decide it has to curb spending and make even deeper spending cuts.
Yes, of course there's more work to be done, and it is work that has to be done in the context of a more challenging global economic outlook.
But the reality is that the Coalition has precious little room to move, with the opposition and crossbench still blocking several spending cuts the government does want and championing others that it definitely doesn't.
The federal government could back the Greens and Labor's call to reduce that huge subsidy that goes through negative gearing.
The ratings agencies will also loom large in Scott Morrison's mind tomorrow. They've warned that they could strip Australia of its AAA credit rating if the government doesn't chart a credible path back to black. And that really would be the nightmare before Christmas for the Treasurer and the Prime Minister. Stephen Dziedzic, ABC News, Canberra.